This is a reading: Identity Theft and Assumption Deterrence Act. It's a U.S. flag, an official website of the United States government. Blah, blah, blah. Identity Theft and Assumption Deterrence Act, as amended by Public Law 105, 318, 112 Stat 3007, October 30th, 1998, an act to amend Chapter 47 of Title 18 United States Code relating to identity fraud and for other purposes. Note, October 30th, 1998, House Resolution 4151. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled. Note, Identity Theft and Assumption Deterrence Act of 1998. I'm not going to do the sections, but short title, note 18 USC 1001. Note, an act may be cited as the Identity Theft and Assumption Deterrence Act of 1998, Section 2. Constitutional authority to enact this legislation. Note 18 U.S. Code 1028. Note, the constitutional authority upon which this act rests is the power of Congress to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states, and the authority to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the powers vested by the Constitution in the government of the United States or in any department or officer thereof, as set forth in Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution. Section 3 is identity theft. Establishment of offense. Section 1028A of Title 18 United States Code as amended. And I'm reading from screenshots, so as y'all see for yourself. 1. In paragraph 5, by striking or at the end. 2. In paragraph 6, by adding or at the end. 3. In the flush matter following paragraph 6, by striking or attempts to do so. And 4. By inserting after paragraph 6 the following. 7. Knowingly transfers or uses without lawful authority a means of identification of another person with the intent to commit or to aid or abet any unlawful activity that constitutes a violation of federal law or that constitutes a felony under any applicable state or local law. B. Penalties. Section 1028B of Title 18 United States Code as amended. 1. In paragraph 1, A. In subparagraph B, by striking or at the end. B. In subparagraph C, by adding or at the end. And C, by adding at the end the following. D. An offense under paragraph 7 of which subsection that involves the transfer or use of one or more means of identification if, as a result of the offense, any individual committing the offense obtains anything of value aggregating $1,000 or more during any 1 year period. 2. In paragraph 2A, in subparagraph A, by striking or transfer of an identification document or an inserting, transfer, or use of a means of identification, an identification document, or A, and B, in subparagraph B, by inserting or 7 after 3. 3. By amending paragraph 3 to read as follows. 3. A fine under this title or imprisonment for not more than 20 years or both if the offense is committed. B. To facilitate a drug trafficking crime as defined in section 929A2. B. In connection with a crime of violence as defined in section 924C3 or C, after a prior conviction under this section becomes final. 4. In paragraph 4, by striking "and" at the end. 5. By redesignating paragraph 5 as paragraph 6, and 6. By inserting after paragraph 4 the following. 5. In the case of any offense under subsection A, forfeiture to the United States of any personal property, use or intended to be used to commit the offense, and C. Circumstances, section 1028C of Title 18 United States Code is amended by striking paragraph 3 and inserting the following. 3. Either A. The production, transfer, possession, or use prohibited by this section is in or affects interstate or foreign commerce, or B. The means of identification, identification document, false identification document, or document making implement is transported in the mail in the course of the production, transfer, possession, or use prohibited by this section. D. Definition, subsection D of section 1028 of Title 18 United States Code is amended to read as follows. D. In this section, 1. The term document making implement means any implement, impression, electronic device, or computer hardware or software that is specifically configured or primarily used for making an identification document, a false identification document, or another document making implement. 2. The term identification document means a document made or issued by or under the authority of the United States government, a state, political subdivision of a state, a foreign government, political subdivision of a foreign government, an international government, governmental, or an international quasi-governmental organization, which, when completed with information concerning a particular individual, is of a type intended or commonly accepted for the purpose of identification of individuals. 3. The term means of identification means any name or number that may be used alone or in conjunction with any other information to identify a specific individual, including any A. Name, social security number, date of birth, official state or government issued driver's license or identification number, alien registration number, government passport number, employer or taxpayer identification number. B, unique biometric data such as fingerprints, voice print, retina or iris image, or other unique physical representation. C, unique electronic identification number, address, or routing code. Or D, telecommunication identifying information or access device as defined in section 1029E. 4, the term personal identification card means an identification document issued by a state or local government solely for the purpose of identification. 5, the term produce includes alter, authenticate, or assemble. And 6, the term state includes any state of the United States, the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, and any other Commonwealth possession or territory of the United States. E, attempt and conspiracy. Section 1028 of Title 18 United States Code is amended by adding at the end the following. F, attempt or conspiracy. Any person who attempts or conspires to commit any offense under this section shall be subject to the same penalties as those prescribed for the offense, the commission of which was the object of the attempt or conspiracy. F, forfeiture procedures. Section 1028 of Title 18 United States Code is amended by adding at the end the following. G, forfeiture procedures. The forfeiture of property under this section, including any seizure and disposition of the property and any related judicial or administrative proceeding, shall be governed by the provisions of Section 413 other than subsection D of this section of the Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act of 1970, 21 U.S.C. 853. G, rule of construction. Section 1028 of Title 18 United States Code is amended by adding at the end the following. H, rule of construction. For purpose of subsection A7, a single identification document or false identification document that contains one or more means of identification shall be construed to be one means of identification. H, conforming amendments, Chapter 47 of Title 18 United States Code as amended. 1, in the heading for Section 1028 by adding an information at the end, and 2, in the table of sections at the end of the chapter, in the item relating to Section 1028 by adding an information at the end. Section 004, Amendment of Federal Sentencing Guidelines for Offenses under Section 1028, Note 28 U.S.C. 994, Note A, in general, pursuant to its authority under Section 994P of Title 28 United States Code, the United States Sentencing Commission shall review and amend the federal sentencing guideline and the policy statements of the commission as appropriate to provide an appropriate penalty for each offense under Section 1028 of Title 18 United States Code as amended by this act. B, factors for consideration in carrying out subsection A. The United States Sentencing Commission shall consider with respect to each offense described in subsection A 1. The extent to which the number of victims, as defined in Section 3663A of Title 18 United States Code, involved in the offense, including harm to reputation, inconvenience, and other difficulties resulting from the offense, is an adequate measure for establishing penalties under the federal sentencing guideline. 2. The number of means of identification documents, or false identification documents, as those terms are defined in Section 1028D of Title 18 United States Code, as amended by this act, involved in the offense, is an adequate measure for establishing penalties under the federal sentencing guidelines. 3. The extent to which the value of the loss to any individual caused by the offense is an adequate measure for establishing penalties under the federal sentencing guidelines for the range of conduct covered by the offense. 5. The extent to which sentencing enhancements within the federal sentencing guidelines and the court authority to sentence above the applicable guideline range are adequate to ensure punishment at or near the maximum penalty for the most egregious conduct covered by the offense. 6 is what? 6. The extent to which federal sentencing guidelines sentences for the offense have been constrained by statutory maximum penalties. 7. The extent to which federal sentencing guidelines for the offense adequately achieve the purposes of sentencing set forth in Section 3553A2 of Title 18 United States Code. And 8. Any other factor that the United States Sentencing Commission considers to be appropriate. Section 005, centralized complaining or consumer education services for victims of identity theft. Note 18, United States Code 1028, Note A, in note deadline general, not later than 1 year after the date of enactment of this act, the Federal Trade Commission shall establish procedures to 1. Log or acknowledge the receipt of complaints by individuals who certify that they have a reasonable belief that one or more of their means of identification, as defined in Section 1028 of Title 18 United States Code, as amended by this act, have been assumed, stolen, or otherwise unlawfully acquired in violation of Section 1028 of Title 18 United States Code. It is amended by this act to provide informational materials to individuals described in paragraph 1 and 3, refer complaints described in paragraph 1 to appropriate entities, which may include referral to the 3 major national consumer reporting agencies and 3 appropriate law enforcement agencies for potential law enforcement action. B, authorization of appropriations. There are authorized to be appropriate such sums as may be necessary to carry out this section. Section 006, technical amendments to Title 18 United States Code. A, technical correction relating to criminal forfeiture procedures. Section 982B1 of Title 18 United States Code as amended to read as follows. 1. The forfeiture of property under this section, including any seizure and disposition of the property and any related judicial or administrative proceedings, shall be governed by the provisions of Section 413, other than subsection D of that section of the Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act of 1970, 21 United States Code 853. B. Economic espionage and theft of trade secrets as predicate offenses for wire interception. Section 2516(1)(a) of Title 18 United States Code is amended by inserting Chapter 90 relating to protection of trade secrets after to espionage. Section 007, reaction of ethics reports filed by judicial officers and employees. Section 105B of the Ethics in Government Act of 1978, 5 United States Code apply as amended by adding at the end the following new paragraph 3A. 3A. This section does not require the immediate and unconditional availability of reports filed by an individual described in Section 109(8) or 109(10) of this Act if a finding is made by the Judicial Conference in consultation with United States Marshal Service that reveals personal and sensitive information could endanger that individual. B. A report may be redacted pursuant to this paragraph only. Or 1. To the extent necessary to protect the individual who filed the report, and or 2. For as long as the danger to such individual exists. C. The administrative office of the United States courts shall submit to the Committee on the Judiciary of the House of Representatives and the Senate an annual report with respect to the operation of this paragraph, including I1, the total number of reports redacted pursuant to this paragraph, I2, the total number of individuals whose reports have been redacted pursuant to this paragraph, and I3, the types of threats against individuals who reports or redacts, if appropriate. D, the Judicial Conference in consultation with the Department of Justice shall issue regulations setting forth the circumstances under which redaction is appropriate under this paragraph and the procedures for redaction. Note regulations. E. This paragraph shall expire on December 31st, 2001 and apply to filings through calendar year 2001. Note expiration date approved October 30th, 1998. Legislative history: House Resolution 4151 S 512, Senate Reports number 105 through 274 accompanying S 512. Look like Commission on Judiciary, Congressional Records, Volume 144, 1998, October 7, considered and passed House October 14th, considered and passed Senate. Weekly compensation of presidential documents, volume 34, 1998, October 30th, presidential statement. And that's that reading. This was identity theft and Assumption Deferrance Act. And you see like how I had to do it. So peace. That's the act reading.